Hi, my name is Chris and this is Battle Nonsense. In November 2014, EA's Chief Financial Officer Blake Jorgensen said during the UBS Technology Conference that there will be a new, fun Battlefield game in 2016, which will return to be a military-styled Battlefield game. After that, we didn't hear anything about that new title, but during EA's last earnings call, it was again Blake Jorgensen who mentioned Battlefield, when he responded to the question of an analyst regarding the company's strategy for the next year. He answered, "What we've said is that our intention over the next couple of years is to have a first-person shooter as one of the core titles. This year, obviously, it's Star Wars Battlefront. Next year, it's another Battlefield title." Then Andrew Wilson, EA's Chief Executive Officer and Director, went on saying, "We have a new Battlefield experience coming in Q3 2017. And another new Star Wars project led by the dynamic creative team of Jade Raymond and Amy Henning." Now, since EA's fiscal year 2017 begins on the 1st of April 2016, this means that this new Battlefield title will be released between October to December 2016. So I think we all agreed that it won't be Battlefield Hardline 2, because even though EA said that they were happy with the sales figures, we just have to look at the player count to see that this game failed. And it's also not military themed, as Jorgensen said the next Battlefield title will be. So Battlefield 5 is an obvious candidate, and because of that a lot of people on YouTube as well as print and online magazines jumped to the conclusion that Battlefield 5 has been announced by EA, even though they only said that there will be a fun new military themed Battlefield game in 2016, which in my opinion could mean Bad Company 3 that a lot of players have been waiting for the last 5 years. Or they could also surprise us and release Battlefield 2143, the successor to Battlefield 2142, for which DICE did add quite a few Easter eggs in Battlefield 3. They could also decide to go back to World War II in Battlefield 1944, or release Battlefield Vietnam 2. So at this point it's all just speculation, as all these possible candidates are military themed. Now, as some of you might know, I'm a Battlefield fan since the 1942 demo was released in 2002, and I've actively played every single Battlefield game, booster packs, modifications and add-ons that were released since then, including Bad Company 1, which was sadly a console exclusive title. So this makes me one of the few people who are still around today who knew Battlefield before the Frostbite engine. So the game that I would like to see in 2016 is Bad Company 3, because after Hardline was just disappointing for many reasons, I would like to go back to that Battlefield spin-off that was really original and didn't take itself too serious. It was just a lot of fun to play with your friends. On my wishlist for Battlefield Bad Company 3 is a single player that is as fun and open as the one in Bad Company 1, because in Bad Company 2 the tone did become a bit too serious and the levels too linear. This also applies to the multiplayer maps, where the ones in Bad Company 1 gave you much more freedom than the ones in Bad Company 2. For the rest of the game I just want that they keep it simple, because that's what made it so fun to play. This means to stick to the low player count of 32 players, as 64 players simply does not make Bad Company more fun. I would also keep chats out of the game as the previous titles did, and not overload it with a ton of unlocks and lock-on weapons. What they should also work on is the ranking system, where I would hope that they come up with something fresh, maybe something silly that fits into the theme of the Bad Company franchise. Other than that, I just hope that the next Bad Company game sticks to the original formula and keeps the game simple, as that's why I played Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2 more than Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 combined. These games worked and they were fun. But how can I say that I want Bad Company 3 instead of Battlefield 5, 2143, 1944 or Vietnam, when I'm a so-called Battlefield veteran of the first hour? To be brutally honest, I'm a bit sick of the Battlefield franchise, or better said what the core Battlefield franchise has become, starting with Battlefield 3, which was not the successor that the Battlefield 2 fans have been waiting for and were promised to get by EA and DICE Stockholm. This is also why I have to say, be careful what you wish for when someone says that he wants Battlefield 2143, because I'm 100% sure that this will be the same kind of successor that Battlefield 3 was for Battlefield 2, and that is not what those who really loved Battlefield 2142 want to see happen. So my unrealistic hope is that in 2016 we get Bad Company 3, and in 2017 we get a new Battlefield game. But unlike the ego shooters with an emphasis on ego that Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 are, this new Battlefield in 2017 would again be a team-based tactic shooter like 1942, Vietnam, Battlefield 2 and 2142. My dream is that this game would bring the core Battlefield franchise back to its roots. A game that finally appeals to me and others again who want more depth from a Battlefield game than what Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 offer. A game that is not overloaded with a ton of nonsense that is only there so that the marketing department can make great trailers about Levolution 2.0 or say that they have 247 different weapon attachments that you can unlock. And have bullets that are actually intended to fly around the corner of a building. A game where the gameplay comes first, including all the systems like netcode, server locations, admin functions, etc. that are key for a great experience. A game with a strong focus on the teamwork aspect, communication, the chain of command and playing the objective, as well as a more specialized class system like the one I showed you in one of my design concepts. I also want to see naval battles return, like we had in Battlefield 1942, and maps that are specifically designed for certain game modes. It would also be great to see the developers try something new with Conquest, like a 3-faction mode where you have 24 players per team. And features only get added to the game if they work and integrate seamlessly into the game, instead of just throwing them in just to have yet another checkbox done on a feature list, like that tablet commander mode in Battlefield 4. It should be a game that has been designed from the inside out with a lot of thought going into the core game design, and not allow anything to be added to the game that does not feel right or out of place, no matter how great it would look in a trailer. Gameplay first. That's my unrealistic dream for 2016 and 2017 as a die-hard Battlefield fan that I am since 13 years now. But when I stop dreaming and look at the Battlefield franchise and the audience that EA and DICE try to make their games appeal to, then it's still possible that Bad Company 3 will be that new game in 2016. But I doubt that it will stick to its original formula, nor that it will continue to have a clean game design. And Battlefield 5, or whatever the name of the next Battlefield game is, will surely continue to be an ego shooter, rather than returning to its team-based tactic shooter roots. My gut tells me that the next title will focus even more on the casual audience and encourage the KD whoring lone wolf playstyle, with highly versatile multi-role classes. If there will even be predefined classes in the next Battlefield game. This would really be my worst nightmare, and if it becomes a reality, then this is where I will abandon ship. So I really hope that it does not come to that after 13 years that I've been playing, modding and making machinimas with Battlefield games. But I have yet to see a sign that the next Battlefield game will actually be able to shake its identity crisis that it has since Battlefield 3 and stops trying to be duty field. We can only wait for more information about this new Battlefield game that we get in 2016, but until then we can still have a lot of fun with Battlefield 4, especially in classic mode on the night version of Sabbath, that should be included in the spring patch. And later on with the really great remake of the Battlefield 2 map Dragon Valley that we will hopefully get in the fall patch together with the community map project. So what are your hopes, dreams and nightmares for the Battlefield franchise in 2016? And what do you realistically expect to happen in the next game or games? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, have a nice day and take care. My name is Chris and this was Battle Nonsense.